Okay, June 25, 1923. I don't remember when I was born. I wasn't, I mean, I was there, but I don't remember. And we lived in Krakow, Poland. It's a beautiful city. Your mom and dad saw it. We had quite a good life till I was 16 and the war came out. Anybody could imagine. There was nothing lacking. We had everything what you kids probably have, except we didn't have the technology. I had all the dolls in the world, all the toys in the world.
And what
My sister and my little brother. We were three of us. My parents were wonderful. When I was 8 years old, I had appendix. And my daddy came to the hospital with to me was a huge box, was probably a shoebox, very light. And daddy said, unpack. And I started to unpack, was a bunch of papers, underneath was a watch. This I never forget, I was 8 years old. I don't remember the face of the watch, but I remember the red leather band around it. This I remember like today.
And could you tell time already by that?
This I couldn't even tell you, I guess.
And what were your parents' names?
My daddy was Moniek, and my mother was Hania.
And the last name was
Apfelbaum.
Apfelbaum, right. And what was your brother's name and your sister's name?
My sister was Czesha, and my brother's was Munju.
And what was the age difference between you guys?
My sister was 3 years younger, my brother was 8 years younger.
Oh, so you were the eldest
from me.
of the three.
I was the oldest,
Right.
the biggest troublemaker.
I'm sure you were. I have no doubt about that.
So anyway,
what did your family do? What did your father do?
my dad, I don't know how you call it, he made the tops of the shoes, custom made, by hand. The design on the shoe was by hand, then it went to the shoemaker. I don't know how you call it in English.
How do you say it in Polish?
Cholewkarz.
Oh, of course, I know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I really don't know. That's very custom made. I mean, each type of the shoe, whatever, and it was real leather. My dad had, I mean, tons of leather rolls in his shop. I gave your parents, when they went to Poland, to the address and everything, they went there.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing those pictures.
So anyway, my daddy and mommy were wonderful. We had a housemaid all our life living with us. I mean, used to be housemaid, now I would say a housekeeper.
So tell me what your typical family life was like. You know, how was school?
The school was normal school like here. My brother went to a private school, to a Hebrew school from the beginning, like Kushner. Zuzi, how do I explain it?
You explain it. It's a Hebrew day school.
What was your school like?
A regular public school.
Okay, all right.
And my sister too, till the high school. I went to a private commercial high school.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I know when you were young is when you met Grandpa.
Oh
So
yeah, I was
how did that come to
13.
pass?
I was 13 years old, and he already was a performer on ice in Maccabi club, sports club. And he saw me. I was 13, he was 18, he was the old man. And he told one of his friends, "This one will be mine one day." And that's it.
So love
Yeah.
at first sight?
I don't know, because at this time it was no touch, God forbid.
Yeah.
And then when the war came out,
So
we somehow met again in Krakow. He's from Krakow.
did your families know each other?
Oh yeah. I knew his mother used to come after we got closer. His father I didn't know. I
So what
really
was-
started with Grandpa to really serious. When he lost his father, he was wearing that black band. At this time, to show respect, you had to wear black.
identify people in the
Yeah,
morning?
yes.
Okay. And how old were you at that time?
Wait a minute, 16.
Okay.
And he
And-
was 21. He was starting college, but then when the war came, one of his uncles had a carpentry shop, very elegant, custom made. He said, if you want to survive, you have to learn a trade,
Okay.
which was very smart. That's
is
how
that-
actually he survived.
Is that how Grandpa got into carpentry?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
how he got in. He was very talented. His mother used to tell me when he was 15, he built his own kayak. I wasn't there, but his mother used to tell me the stories.
And so just so we have it, what was Grandpa's name when you met him?
Aryan,
And his last name, Griffel also?
Griffel, this didn't change.
What was his parents' name?
Griffel, Josefa,
Mm-hmm.
and what was it? Alex, his father.
And he had-
no, Abraham, I'm sorry, Abraham.
And he had a brother, obviously.
Yes, Ziggy.
Ziggy,
You,
yeah.
you knew Uncle Ziggy.
I remember Uncle Ziggy very well.
No,
Yes.
that's what I mean,
Yes.
and Harry. That's how you remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a brother, and they didn't. When they were in concentration camp, they were in the same concentration camp. They didn't know that they are alive.
Interesting. So that's how I want to get to kind of
Yeah.
the transition. And so
Yeah,
how
very
did you
good.
first start to realize that something was changing?
Oh
When
well,
did
you see, we were on every summer. Our whole family we went to the country for a whole summer, and it was September 3rd. Usually we came back because school started in September. And by train, naturally, at this time we didn't have cars. We go on train and full of soldiers. They told us the war is on. We
Were
didn't
they
know.
German soldiers?
No,
Polish?
Polish soldiers, all in uniforms. What's happening is war already.
And when did you start to feel that something was changing in your hometown?
What was it? Around 41, 42. I mean, changed almost from the beginning. About 2-3 months into the war, they put armbands on us, Jude. We had to wear
So it wasn't a
Jude.
Jewish star that you wore. It was like a stripe on your clothes that you had to wear.
No, that was in concentration camp, in ghetto. But at first we had to wear those with Jude, a Jew.
So how?
And I didn't look like a Jew, so I was able to still go to my daddy's shop and go to the deli store or something like that. War with Germany, That's how we came on a train from our vacation, and I really country vacation. It was September 3rd that I remember.
So how long after you got back from that vacation, you got off that train, you went home, and
And-
how long between then and when they said now you have to leave? Was it within a few weeks? Was it?
No, it was few months. It wasn't like few weeks.
What were those few months like? Did you know something was brewing?
Yeah, something. First of all, right away, it was ordered that all the Jews had to wear the armbands. But they still let us go about our lives.
So school didn't change, work didn't
No,
change,
no,
going out to
no,
play didn't
still
change.
for a while. Naturally, I couldn't go like when my dad had a shop because that was quite a Jewish area. So right away, if somebody was mean, Polacks didn't have a good reputation with Jews. We never felt anti-Semitic in Krakow. For some reason, we lived in I don't know, it was a big city. You see, at this time, it still is a big city. So people don't care so much about each other.
And what I remember from Krakow, it's been many, many years since I've been there, but from what I was told, there was a decent Jewish population.
Oh yeah, that's where, but we didn't live in that Orthodox area because we were never Orthodox. We are Jews, but not Orthodox.
Did you go to Hebrew school and go to temple on the holidays? And
Yeah, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and you were in the shtibel. Yeah, where my dad belongs to a small temple, whatever you call it. We call it a room, right? Well, I think Tony told me you saw the shtibel.
was it just kind of a bare bones room that people would just...
Yeah, they got it, but my dad didn't go every day or something. Holidays we went, and
And were you bat mitzvahed?
no.
Okay.
Girls went bat mitzvah at this time.
Okay.
But I went to Hebrew commercial school. And why did I go? Because I wasn't such a great student like Grandpa. There were 2 Jews only in the high school. At this time, we paid for high school, especially with Grandpa Mickiewicz. I told my kids where he went exactly. There were only 2 Jews there because he was brilliant, tuition free. He and the other friend, Dolek. I remember him.
And
I had to go
so
to
you were
him.
saying before how you are remarkably able to remember details of
Yes, I remember every corner of Krakow. I remember where I was born. I remember our maid named Marisha. She was living with us as long as my life was alive.
Was she Jewish as well?
No, she wasn't Jewish.
Okay.
We really brought her up. She probably was a young girl until the war. She was with us. She was a lived-in maid. Maid, at this time was maid.
Okay. And how did your parents start to explain to you what was going on?
No, I was already 16 years old. I wasn't a child anymore. When we unloaded from vacation, I lived in a very fancy building at this time with the elevator and all the big, and the balconies, right? Susie saw it. The balconies, we have seen the planes fighting over us. I mean, it was bombing.
And was your father still able to work and do business?
Yes, for a while, till the ghetto, till the end of 41.
So the ghetto, was it in Krakow, or did you have to go somewhere else?
No, it was few kilometers. I mean, Podgórz used to be like another suburbs of Krakow.
And how did you get there?
That was already trouble. That's when my father, they chased us out. I mean,
Tell me.
It was horrible. I mean, it was announcement, all Juden get out. And
So was it just one day they showed up to your building?
one day, not building, they were shutting to the 4th floor. I mean, the bullets were flying. And we gathered whatever we could, and we...
And so what kind of things were you able to bring with you?
Whatever, I don't know, a backpack size, maybe. I mean, it was nothing.
It wasn't something you had time to pack for, you just had to pick up
No,
what you could
we
and
did,
leave.
just leave, whatever you could. Naturally, we gathered our family together.
And
at this point, my brother was shot, and my father ran after him. He was shot too.
was that before you got to the ghettos and as you were
No, on the way to the
on
ghetto.
the way to the ghettos? How old was your brother at the time?
8 years old.
Oh, pause for a second, I'm sorry.
My dad was 38.
I just want to explain the bands, they were the yellow bands that had.
Yellow, no, it was Judah, yeah, Jew.
We'll go through
Okay.
explanations later. So, okay, all right. So what happened after that? So obviously your mother
After
gathered
that,
you.
no, anyway, my mother and my sister, we went down at this time when the bullets are flying all over you, you have no time even to feel sorry for nobody. And blood all over because they ripped the kids, little babies, out of mother's arm and threw it against the concrete. It was...
That must have been very traumatic for a 16-year-old to
You
experience.
know what, at this time, you were in such a panic that you don't know how you react. Really, no. Now when I think about it, it's just...
Yeah, so then you got onto the train to go to...
Yet,
And how long of a ride was that?
who knows? We were like kettles, exactly like kettles. I mean, there was kettle cars.
And what kind of, were there any conversations going on between the other people on the cars, or everyone was just in a state of shock?
Nobody talked to nobody because we were cattle. I mean, one after one, leaning one against the other. Exactly. And the doors, the Nazis, all guns around us, naturally. And they were hidden in the cattle cars, so they opened the doors, and whoever was able to fly out, they shot him anyway. Some people thought maybe he ran away, or some fell out.
Mm-hmm. And then when you arrived to where the ghetto was, how was the process
The
of getting
ghetto
out?
already were when we. It wasn't bad. We had a little apartment. I don't know if you call it the apartment. It was a bed and it was for all of us. And we stayed how long? 2 years. 2 years, I forgot already. Till
And
42.
Was it just your family in that?
Yes, only our family, but they divided. It was like a cubic room. I mean, I
And what
couldn't.
was can you try to describe to me what a typical day would be like living in the ghetto? What
In
did
the
you
ghetto,
do?
after a while you settled, you had to go to work, naturally. Everybody had to go. I was able to work at the office because I was typing. I still knew how to type and stenography. So I got some kind of a job in the office. And my sister, what did she do? Nothing, I think. And my mother went to a tailor shop or something, and she never sewed in her life.
Hmm. And so and how did you get food? Did you hear any information about the outside world, what was going on in other parts of Europe, other parts
Well,
of the
we
world?
didn't. As a matter of fact, Uncle Ziggy was even engaged, and she went on Catholic papers. She was lucky, and she used to come every day to the fence. And one day she disappeared, so we really don't know what happened to her. Probably was shot.
And was Grandpa's family with you at this time as well?
No, Grandpa was arrested before the ghetto even.
Okay.
Was arrested at the Gestapo.
Okay.
And lucky because he was a carpenter.
So he was able to do some work and
Right, that. And a few of us, I mean, few guys. And Henry, you know what I am, Kronberg, and Kuno, Zuzi knows the people.
so and when you were in the ghetto for 2 years.
Yes,
is that
for
right?
2
Was
years.
there any type of resistance? Any discussions about?
There was a lot of resistance. As a matter, Kushner was resisting a lot.
How did that come to pass? Were you
I
involved
don't,
in that? Or
no,
did you hear
I
anything about it?
wasn't involved. I wasn't. They ran away to the woods and they were really fighting. Kushner, this Kushner's grandpa, he did some good.
This Kushner, what do you mean?
No, Ivanka's husband. I
gotcha.
knew her, his grandfather. He did a lot of good. He was
Okay.
fighting,
And so,
but he didn't fight good enough.
and while you were in the ghetto, when did you know that there was a time at which you might have to move to somewhere else?
No, we didn't know. Again, with guns upon us, they put us again in cattle cars, but they were very bad cattle cars.
So this again with no warning, they just came.
No
into the day and said-
warning, just gathered us.
Okay.
And I really like cattle.
And do you have any idea how long that train ride was?
No,
Okay.
this I couldn't tell you. I know it was days. And once in a while they would let us out of the cattle cars, and on the ground, naturally, guns all around us. If you moved, if you had to relieve yourself, you were shot.
What was the purpose of getting you out of the Egyptian?
No, because they needed, the guard needed rest too. It wasn't because of our comfort.
Right. And
Because we were on the cattle car for 3 days. This I remember, 3 days.
were you still together with your family, your mom?
Yes,
and your
with
sister?
Mom and my sister. Yes, we were lucky.
And did your mom talk to you about what to expect?
My
what
mom
going on,
was completely almost unbelievable because she lost her husband and a child, her baby son. I mean, she was very sad, but she was very functioning.
So she really.
She was a very young woman. She was 38 years old.
And how was your relationship with your sister at that time?
Good.
Did you kind of look out for each other and help each
Yeah.
other?
And I tell you, my sister looked up for me even better. She was more with it than I am, actually.
And so you were on this cattle
Yes.
car for so many
No,
days.
anyway, and then we went to Plaszow. Finally, we have arrived to a concentration camp. Finally,
And which camp was that?
Plaszow.
And so what was it like when you first arrived? What happened?
Bad. They put us in barracks, I mean, on wooden planks, naturally.
So how about when you were on the car and they got you all off? What was the process of getting off?
It was
finding-
just like kettles. You know, I cannot imagine how we survived. They pushed him. My sister was hit with a rifle in the back at this time.
and
Because they poked you.
And-
Go, run.
what did you have with you at this time?
At this time,
Was it just the clothes on your back?
that's all.
And
Nothing at this time.
and once you arrived to the barracks, what were the barracks like? What did they look like?
Horrible. I mean, they were barracks.
So
And planks of wood. I mean, how do you call those things what you buy for the kids? You
like
sleep.
bunk beds.
Yeah, bunk beds, but just wood, nothing on it.
And how many people would be on one platform?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. It was
And did you know anybody else, or was it just your family that you?
no, my family, and I didn't know many people, but I knew people from Krakow who survived with me. Few.
And how long were you there for?
How much? Wait a minute, let me see. 2 years, and then we went to Auschwitz.
Well, so tell me about a typical day in that first camp where you were. Did you?
Plus, we had to carry stones. I don't remember what they built. We were.
So was it kind of like a work camp?
Yeah. It was work with. It was punishment.
And so, how did you stay with your family the whole time when the work was going on?
Yes, not together. No, everybody's in a different bunk, but we, for some reason, we were able to connect.
And
My
how was
mother.
it? How did you get any food? How did that?
They delivered
What kind
by
of food were they
wagon.
giving you? What kind of food did you have to eat?
A loaf of bread, maybe.
And how long was that supposed to last you?
And they was one stole from the other. Many people stole. So that was, I couldn't even tell you the details because the food was.
Yeah, what would happen if someone got sick? If someone got injured?
So they shot him or you injured. So I tell you at the end, we all survived with typhus. No doctors, and probably temperature was 110 if it exists. I think that's why my mother didn't survive.
And
It was horrible.
so, when you were there, you didn't know it was just temporary. You didn't know if you were going to be moving anywhere
Oh,
else.
no. Then they moved us to Auschwitz.
And did you have any idea at this time what was going on in the rest of the world or rest
No,
of Europe?
no,
Okay.
no.
So
We-
what happened on that day when they moved you from where you were to Auschwitz? Was it
Again, cattle cars,
They just came in,
very
said,
bad.
"Time to go"?
Yeah. And Auschwitz, we came in, and they again segregated. You go this way, you go. Some people went to crematorium. We all went there, but if you're young enough, they will tell you go to the right, go to the left, whatever. And we were lucky. My sister and my mother was selected to be alive. And
So
the
you were-
screaming in the crematorium was horrible. We were right there.
So you could hear that going on.
Not hear it because it was the same shower. They told us you go take a shower. And the showers were because you had to go naked. If they liked your body, you were alive. If they didn't, you went right to. Because they burned the people really alive, and I mean it alive.
And at what-
Children and, oh God.
So when you got off the train and then you were sorted into the different groups,
Yes,
and that's when
then
you
they
went to the
put us
shower.
again, the shower, then they put us again in barracks.
At what point did you get the tattoo?
Right when you arrived, from the shower, we got the tattoo, and they shaved my head because to be too shame. I was too beautiful for them. That was the exact word. And then I fainted, and I am surprised they didn't shoot me because
What's the
Yeah.
next thing you remember after that? After you
no,
fainted
after
and-
we settled down in those barracks again, and they gave us work, and that's all.
So was that a work camp as well? You were supposed
Oh,
to do
yeah,
something. So
yeah.
what was a typical
It-
task?
again, where did we work in? My mother was working, sewing uniforms, and I was there too. Yeah, we were sewing. We were the lucky ones. Some people went to Schindler. They were lucky. They survived.
And when you were in the camp there, were there any talk of resistance, leaving, escaping?
We heard through the grapevine, but we didn't see nobody resisting because we all wouldn't be alive.
And was there any sense of camaraderie amongst everybody, that everyone tried to help each other, or was it very much each person for themselves?
After a while, you were glad to talk to somebody, and again we were like cattle sleeping one by the other on wooden planks. That's the truth.
Yeah. And were you with your family?
And the clothes, even the clothes, you were lucky if you find a shoe, not your size. One was black, while one was a slipper, because they would just throw your clothes. We didn't know what we had.
So how regimented was your day? Did you have a certain time where everyone had to get up?
Oh, that was few times a day and night. And we had to go out naked in the snow, naked or not naked, whatever. You couldn't use the toilet, you couldn't.
Yeah, so what would happen if you're in the barracks and you have to relieve yourself? What would you do?
Certain barracks, they called the lavatory, they were all open. And the guards naturally stood over you.
Mm-hmm.
And you were lucky if you came back, because sometimes they would say you're too long and too. It was.
Did you have any? Was Grandpa there as well?
No. Grandpa was. He was in Auschwitz, but I didn't know. Even once of a sudden somebody comes with food wagon. That was. I don't know. I'm scrambling everything, but that's so true.
I think you're doing pretty well, actually.
And I tell you in Auschwitz, when I came in, anyway, after, I don't remember, it was a day, 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know. A mutual friend of ours, was lucky to get a job to bring food on a wagon. He saw me. I don't know how he recognized me, because I didn't have He said, Marian is here. I said, where is Marian? And he must have gotten in touch with him. Next day, Grandpa came with the wagon. That's how we knew we are alive.
And did that continue for some time, or?
What? Once in a while he was able to bring the wagon. Once in a while, because that was a job assigned. Tomorrow they might assign you to dig a grave, we didn't know. But Grandpa was pretty shrewd at it, and the carpentry saved him a lot of life. And I mean it, every place you always need a carpenter.
Were you able to communicate with him at all?
No. I mean, we couldn't talk to each other, and Grandpa was so good. I mean, he really saved us. When he got a loaf of bread, he would throw over the fence, electric fence, and the Russian Jews were very tough. By the time I got the loaf of bread, the Russian took it, a Russian girl, because we were separated. And Grandpa somehow always was able, and we weren't engaged, we weren't married, but we knew each other very well. Really, Grandpa was very, very good to us, my mother. And
the other the guards that were there to I guess keep everybody in line, were there some that were more sympathetic or less, or particularly mean? What was your interactions with the guards?
It was the guards, no interaction, but some were, some were human beings. When I tell you, but when did it happen? That happened in Plaszow. I have to go back. A Nazi, Grandpa was on Gestapo, but he made friends with one of the Nazis, and he brought Grandpa to Plaszow. Both of them could have been shot, but he was able to bribe him. He brought him, because you talk about Nazi. Some had hard, and most of them didn't.
So Grandpa at that. So to go back to that. So Grandpa at the time was in Auschwitz.
No, Grandpa, at this time when I'm going back, I know I'm scrambling it all up. You need to edit it.
We'll figure it out.
Because, my mind is going. He was on Gestapo at this time, and
What does that mean that he was on the Gestapo?
He was arrested by the Gestapos on Montelupi. I mean, my family knows all about it. I don't know if you went there or not.
Yeah.
It was a Gestapo jail.
That's where Grandpa was taken to.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and lucky that was Carpenter, and one of my other friends, Kuno, was an auto mechanic, which he never was, or he made himself, and he survived.
Mm-hmm. And so while Grandpa was in prison there is when he was
Oh
brought
yeah, he
over
was
to-
the first one to be in prison from Krakow.
Oh, really?
They gathered all the young people, and when you had some kind of a trade,
Well, they could use him, yeah.
Yeah, they need him.
And so what was it like when you saw him in the first camp where you were at?
No, I saw him first in Auschwitz. I didn't see him at the time.
Okay. And at what point when you were in Auschwitz did you get some idea that something might be changing, that there may be an end?
No, we didn't know, but we felt it because they were much easier on us. The Nazis, the crematoriums didn't work 24 hours, and we heard some rumors, because I didn't have a radio, but some underground people had some kind of a radio. They had orchestras, they have many things which we didn't know. Those people were hidden by the Nazis because they needed them. You had Susie when we went to the gathering in wherever, Boca.
Well, there were people talking about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And do you have any idea how long you were in Auschwitz for?
A year and a half.
Was it kind of hard to keep track of time?
Very hard, very hard. There was no calendar, but we figured, because the time of the year, it was snowing, then was nice, anyway, then we went to Bergen-Belsen, which
So
in my book was even worse, because that
how
was,
did you get from Auschwitz to Bergen-Belsen?
again, by cradle cards.
Now, one thing that we always hear about when we hear about Auschwitz, just to go there for a minute, is the death marches, but that was later. After you had already
Marches,
left.
no, they didn't marches. Naturally, we marched to the cars. They didn't wait. The Uber didn't wait for us. We had to march.
Yeah.
And somebody couldn't make it, so they shot him right. You really marched over bodies many times.
And you were still with your family at this time. You guys all managed to stay together.
Yes.
And what was your
Yeah.
interactions like with your mom? And what kind of conversations did you have?
No, we were together, that's all. It wasn't much. We were all scared stiff, and we didn't really...
So what happened when you got to Bergen-Belsen?
No, that was bad. That was even worse than anything. This concentration camp was the end of us. We got the lice, first of all, lice. Nobody can imagine how it looks and how you feel. And you took it for granted, all over you, everybody. And you slept one by the other. And the camp got infected with typhus.
And there was no medical care. You just
No
had to
medical care, no
survive it.
nothing. Horrible.
Was that a work camp as well?
Yeah, work camp, very work camp.
So what
But
type of tasks did you do there?
everything, carrying dirt and stones and digging whatever we were assigned to. But the sickness was terrible because we couldn't walk. We probably ran temperature, who knows. And we survived. My mother survived, but she didn't really survive.
And how long were you there for?
A year, about a year, right.
And is that where you were
And
liberated?
that's when I was liberated.
So what happened
That
in those
one-
few months leading up to liberation? Did you have any information from the outside
We
world?
didn't, but we saw I told you that they got to be gentler, the Nazis, like they
Did you know
stayed.
why at the time?
We didn't. But then once all of a sudden we are free. The English marched in. I remember, I was liberated by the English, Grandpa by the American.
And
And
on that day when you were liberated, how did that? I can't
we didn't
imagine.
realize. We just didn't realize that we are free.
Did they come in and just say you're
Yes,
free?
they screamed, "You are free, you are free," and powdered us, all of us, because they wanted to get rid of the lies. That was horrible.
And did they give you food? Did they give you
Yes,
clothes?
right away they tried to bring in food. I mean, and we could go out.
And how was your mom? How was your sister during that time?
My sister was very good. My mom wasn't good. The typhus didn't make her recover. I mean, she just didn't recover from it.
So as a family, did you leave that camp and where did you go?
Then we went, Jewish Family Service took over and they settled us in little bungalows. I don't
In
know.
that same area where Berkeley
Yes,
was?
yes, in the same area.
And when was it that your mom passed away?
May 9, so figure it out. We were liberated April 15 and May 9.
And were you in that same area when she passed?
Yeah, she was with us. She was with us.
And how old were you at this time?
How old was I when the war ended? 21.
And how old was your sister?
3 years younger, so take off your shoes because
I'm not very good at math. And did you know at the time that she wasn't going to make it? When
Well, we didn't know, but she got very, very, very weak. Very. I mean, she just couldn't pick her head up.
And so what happened once she passed away? Were you still in that same area?
Yeah, we
Your
were
sister
in the
together?
same area. They picked. I don't know where she is buried. At this time, we didn't have a burial. I don't know where my family is buried. Someplace in a ditch. Because when my brother and father, so they just kicked you to the curb.
That you were able to keep with you through the war, or all of whatever possessions you had, or just
Nothing. The only picture what I have of my mom, and I still don't know how we survived. I don't know how my father looked. I don't know my uncle, and nobody.
now when you close your eyes, can you picture what your mom, your dad, and your
Yes,
family?
I know one thing, and I really mean it. I had a good childhood. I have no bad moment. We went to movies and to theaters and to circus. I mean, whatever you want to think of, what existed. We had a radio too, what few people had. Don't forget, I am almost 97 years old.
Yeah, 97 years young.
Whatever it is.
Well, we are all here because of you.
That's
So,
true. And I hope you live to have next generation and the next and the next.
Well, that's why we appreciate you doing this, and I know it
Thank
may
you.
not be easy, but
No, it's not all that hard. Listen, it might not be very orderly.
it's your story, and life doesn't always go in a straight line.
All right, David, I am.
I think that's it for now.
Can I ask
Yes,
maybe a sad thing? Your brother was
Yes.
murdered by the Nazis.
November shot like a dog. I wasn't there.
So
Somebody let us know, your mother, your brother and father. But I know why, because Dad ran after him when he was separated from us. That was a natural instinct, I mean.
Where were you at the time?
We were separate. When the ghetto was liquidated, something went like this. I didn't even see them, but they pushed my brother away. But I figured because they went like this with rifles in their hands.
when you were going to the ghetto
Yes.
for the first time and you had to move, did your parents tell you why did this have to happen? Why were you?
No,
why
how,
did you have
who
to
knew?
move?
Honey, nobody knew. Nobody, because the ghetto came, we were in our own house, and next day, within hours, let's go.
At what point did you know it was because you were Jewish?
No, we knew from
Because you
when,
had
when they came, when the war almost started. I told you right away, I don't know, remember how long, few months, we had to wear those bands. And then by then, the radio, we had the short wave radio, whatever you call it. We knew that the Germans are already going this way. So we realized, and they told us to wear the Jude band, so you knew that something is going on.
Gee, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. When you were in the ghetto, and then you had to go on a train, did you know where you were going? Did you know anything about it? And the reason I'm asking you that is a lot of people that I've met in the last couple of years, especially where I live, who have parents that were in Europe, one place or another, ended up in the concentration camps, were told that they were going to a displaced persons camp, and they had to buy their tickets in order to get on the trains, and then they put them in the cattle cars. Okay, but they had to pay for it, and there's some place in Poland or in Germany where they have copies of all those tickets.
They said, no, we never had
And
it.
people were told
They
different
just-
prices, and they had no idea where they were going.
No,
They ended
that
up in
was-
Auschwitz and some of the other camps.
We didn't know where we were
Okay, so you were just herded together and told to get on.
Heard it exactly like cattle. I mean, really
I
like
was just
that.
curious as to whether,
No, they didn't let us know nothing. We didn't know. I never knew Plaszow.
no, they were told they were going to a displaced persons camp where they would be treated humanely and they'd have places to live and things like that. It didn't turn out that way, but that was to get them to do things without fighting.
We never. The ghetto liquidating was just tragic. Was around the blood on the sidewalk. I can't forget. They ripped out babies from mother's arm and just threw it against the wall or on the concrete. That was, I mean, the ghetto was, the liquidating was tough. Because you couldn't take nothing, they just rifle behind you all the time. I don't remember guns, rifles. They all had rifles.
Gee.
I don't know what they were.
And so, how long were you in that
In
area?
the vicinity, let me think.
Was it a
15.
tent? Was it an apartment?
No, they were like bungalows. Right? It was like country, because Bergen-Belsen was the country, so must have been a country maybe, I don't know, farmers or whatever. But that was already okay, and my poor mother.
This is after your mom died. It was you and your sister. How long were you there for at that time?
Wait a minute, my mom died May 45, right? So we were there, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 months.
What did you do on a day-to-day basis there?
Nothing.
There wasn't a job
The Jewish Federation really took care of us, whatever it was, the few months. And then they brought us to Celle. Then they said, I mean, not they brought us, they said, you know, you can start the life here. The Jewish Federation again opened up offices and we registered and my sister enrolled in high school.
This is in Celle now, not...
Yeah, already Celle.
This was all train, I guess you were transported by... from where to...
Yeah, that was by train, but was a normal train.
Yeah. And did you have any possessions at that point to bring with you? From when
Whatever we had, because the Jewish Federation gave us like, I don't remember how much or whatever, to buy something.
And how about medical care? I mean, you said everyone came out sick with typhus and...
No, we survived. I don't even know how we survived. By the time they sent us to Celle, We were already after it.
Okay, and so you had recovered from whatever illness
Yeah,
you had.
and my sister was very ambitious. She would go to the country and go to the farmers and bring some vegetables or something. I have to give my sister credit because I wasn't so much with it. She was very ambitious girl.
And did you have a group of friends that you would hang out with when you were there? This is before you
Yeah,
went to Sela, but you were still in the just after liberation.
We didn't, but we knew few people. Like on my bungalow was somebody's sister whom I knew. I graduated with him high school.
And then you went from there to Sele.
To Sele, yeah, the Jewish Federation. That's how we got to Sele because we didn't know where we were.
Did they set you up with jobs or how?
Yeah, all kinds. My sister enrolled in high school. She was a terrific. She really was brilliant. So anyway, she wanted to finish high school, and I was at the milliner. I used to love to make hats. I loved. So I got a job as in a millinery whatever shop.
So making hats.
Yeah, making hats, and then.
And then how did you get back in touch with Grandpa?
No, I'm coming to it. Then everything the Federation, this I have to give them credit. At this time they were called Hayas, Jewish Hayas. They were wonderful. So one of mutual friends again from Mauthausen, where Grandpa was liberated. Grandpa was liberated in Mauthausen. Comes in and he sees me in the Federation. He said, Marian is here, there. And Marian came 2 days later, the Grandpa was.
So how did the message get from where were you? So that you were
He
in Sela
came
at
back,
the time.
yeah, in Celle. He came to, you see, a lot of people came around to Federation to find people, family and so. That's how we families got together, because we didn't know where we were.
So it was this mutual friend that got the message to Grandpa?
Yes,
That, hey, you're
yes,
still alive.
yeah, your girlfriend is here. 2 days later, Grandpa came, and that was it.
Did you know he was coming, or he just showed up? And said,
He
"Here I am"?
just showed up. He just showed up. Here I am, and
What was that like when you saw him for the first time after that?
it was very nice. What can I tell you?
I can imagine.
It was very nice for both of us.
Yeah. And was he working? So were you? Did
Yeah,
you live
he
together
was
at that point?
already. No, we didn't. God forbid,
Yes.
you don't live together.
So what did he do there in Sela?
In the Federation, he got an office job.
Okay.
And then after a few months, I mean, we got married in February 46, and we got liberated 45.
The
So-
circumstances of your wedding with Grandpa.
So anyway, when it was a waiting time, you apply for wedding anyway. So Rabbi Olinsky, I remember him like today. We didn't know him from Adam. When he had Griffel, he told Grandpa, it will cost you. So Grandpa said, I'll sleep with her anyway. I swear to God, he got scared. Zugnish, don't say it, don't say it.
So why after he heard the name Griffel did he say it's going to cost you?
Because they were wealthy people.
Ah.
Griffels were wealthy. As a matter of fact, I don't know if still, it's a tower, steel Griffel, one of his uncle invented. They made some kind of a building with steel. He was the first one. Grandpa had a car. I didn't know him at this time when they were children. They had a BMW and nobody had a car. His mother used to say he was 5, 6 years old. He would drive a car. He was sitting on his father's lap and drive a car. I didn't know them at this time, so I couldn't tell you. They were supposedly very wealthy.
Okay.
When I met him, he wasn't wealthy anymore. We married 3 couples together.
But you knew all the other couples that you were getting married with.
And the reason being, because in Jewish religion you have to walk with the couple. So, like I got married and I substituted their parents, because we didn't have parents. You didn't have nobody to walk us down the aisle or something.
So that reminds me of something. So before the war, when you're in Krakow, obviously you were with your mom and dad and your
Right.
brother and your sister and everything. Did you have aunts, uncles, cousins, extended
Yeah,
family
we
there?
weren't a huge family because my parents, grandpas, I never knew about. They died obviously very, very young. And the grandparents lived in a different town. We used to go like always holiday to visit them and so on.
And did you have, when the war started and you went to the first to the ghetto and to the different camps, were you with any of your extended family at all?
No, nobody. One uncle was Rice.
He was your mom's brother?
My father's brother-in-law, something
Okay.
like this.
All right.
We called him Uncle.
And after the war, after you were liberated, did you have any?
Nobody but Ziggy. Grandpa found him. They were in the same concentration camp.
Ziggy and Grandpa were.
Mauthausen.
Yeah, but they didn't know it.
They didn't know. It was a.
So how did they find each other?
Again, you see, after liberation, our people used to travel organization to organization to find it. We didn't have computers at this time, but every place they opened up a Jewish registrar and you put in your name, like it went really.
So did Grandpa find Ziggy or the other way around before he went to Sela?
No. Oh yeah,
And-
they found each other in Mauthausen right after the
So
war.
they both came to Sela together?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
No, Ziggy didn't go. Ziggy by then met Hedy and they went to Gelhausen.
Where's that?
It's another town in Germany. I mean, it wasn't far away.
So how was it?
Because Emmy was there, and Emmy at this time already, she was very sick, her lungs, and that's when she met Herman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Herman was
I
in
remember
German.
him very well. Yes.
He was a good guy.
Yeah. I remember him as kind of like a jokester, kind of a.
Oh, he had a big
And
mouth.
he used to always tell the story about how he would line things up with his thumb.
Oh yeah,
when he was
I
in the
mean
war.
he was, and he was a big help to everybody. But at the end, I don't think they finished. Alan, I mean, it was like their son.
Mm-hmm.
Really, what he did.
So going back to when you were in Sela and you got married.
Yes.
So how was it? Did you live together after once you were married? Is that when you started living together?
Oh sure.
Okay. And obviously, Mom came around at some point.
Yes, 3 years later.
And
She didn't pop up just.
No, just magical. And how was it? How was it having a baby and raising a baby?
Well, not that. Except we didn't have a car. There was 3 in the morning, and Grandpa said, "Go back to sleep," because she was supposed to be on his birthday. She came 2 days before. Exactly. So we didn't have a car to the hospital. My sister's husband had a car, so Grandpa took a bicycle to get his brother-in-law to bring me to the hospital. That was the story, and that was really a story.
How far did he have to ride to get the car?
Not long,
Okay.
no, not few blocks. I mean, we were living pretty close with each other. That was funny. And then I come to the hospital and Mommy popped up.
And your
Critical.
life was joyous from then on.
Yep, yes. Oh, she was a center of attraction. And I mean a center of everybody. And my sister's husband, he put a red band on a carriage and a red ribbon on her wrist. She was so beautiful. Don't give her Anne Hore.
What was the red ribbon for? What was the?
That's Anne Hore. Some people still do it, like evil eye.
Ah, okay. To ward away the bad
Yes.
stuff. Okay.
Yes. She was really unusually beautiful.
So
Right, Ran?
Absolutely.
And no,
still
I'm
are,
not
and
joking
still
now.
are. No, I'm serious.
Your grandma was in love with her, and I mean it.
Susie is very photogenic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
She really
but she was really gorgeous.
So and At what point did you decide that you were leaving, and did you know you were going to America?
Yes, after a few years they give you a choice. You had to leave or you could stay, but who wanted to stay in Germany? So we applied for America and took, 3-4 years. It wasn't like this.
This was with the Jewish services also? They were the ones
Yeah,
making the
everything Jewish services.
Did they...
On it, they put us on a display spell because we didn't have citizen. We gave up the Polish citizen. When the war came up, they took us off the list. You know, we were no more nobody.
And your sister went to...
Argentina. And the reason why, because they applied to America. My brother-in-law was a business shrewdy and he wanted to stay in business. By the time his turn came, America closed up the quota. That was the reason.
So you left before your sister did?
Yes.
So when did you find out that she was going to be going to Argentina?
Oh, by then we were communicating. We could write letters. That's all. We were constantly in touch.
So how was it traveling with the baby nonetheless?
That was on a ship. The whole ship was sick because it was a military ship, wasn't nothing fancy. But everybody was sick, but Susie and Daddy.
They were the only ones that were not sick?
They were the two on the ship, and Grandpa went to the kitchen and he brought grapefruit and all these goodies. He was okay, and Susie on the whole ship. Jerry, we went with friends, you know whom I was talking about. Jerry was so sick. One of our very good friends, we went on the same ship. He's a doctor, probably already retired. So Susie and Jerry were best buddies. They were holding hands at the 1 year old. I have pictures with Dina.
How old was Mom when you came across?
18 months.
18 months.
Exactly 18 months.
All right. And then when you how long were you on how long was the ship? Was the
Oh, 2 weeks. This I remember. 2 weeks sleeping and everybody was sick.
And where did you arrive into when you first
Boston.
came to Boston? So what was that like coming off the ship? What was the process of?
They treated us very nice. When we got off the ship, they put us in a hotel room, this I know, and they took us to a very nice restaurant downstairs from the hotel, and whatever was breakfast or lunch, I at this time, I wasn't American yet, and that's okay. And then we applied where we gonna go, and I didn't know New York from New Jersey, and Hedy was already in New York, so we applied for New York. They shipped us to New Jersey. That's how we stayed.
So you did have a choice as to where you would go, or at least a
Yeah,
region.
more or less, right. I mean, not every. They didn't respect every request,
Sure.
but more. So New Jersey, we came to New Jersey. They put us in a rooming house on Passion Avenue.
So it was a bunch of families living in the same house?
I don't know. They were just little pellets of rat poisoning, and Mommy was a very active girl, you know. She wanted to eat it. For 90 days, the Jewish Federation gave us, paid the rent, and they gave us some money to go, at this time, Bambergers, to buy a bed or something. I don't remember how much. So Grandpa said, that's not the place with a child. And then we moved to Jewish Avenue.
So how long were you in that boarding house for?
Few months, 3 months, I guess,
Okay.
probably not more.
And after that, they said you're on your own.
Yes, on your own. So Grandpa started to get a job. It was a Jewish boss, and he wanted the newcomers work 24 hours for an hour pay. That's usually what happens today. Let's not kid ourselves.
And then how did you find that? So it was Jerry, what was the name of the street that you were on? When you moved
Jewish
in?
Avenue, 233 Jewish Avenue. I remember like today.
How did you find that place?
Word of mouth, you know, but by then we talked to somebody. And I was the one with English. Grandpa didn't know a word, but he arranged everything.
Did you learn English before the war? Was that
Oh,
part
yeah,
of your school?
yeah, sure, in school. And we had private lessons too. We had everything home. Piano lesson.
But Grandpa didn't know any English when he came
Nothing,
over.
but he connected with people. And we found a Jewish butcher, and Mommy was very trained. At 18 months, really, I didn't have a diaper, believe it or not. But we had a porcelain potty,
I heard about this, yeah.
and the potty broke. And Aunt Hetty gave the best parts. She wouldn't go no place, the potty. So go find in America a porcelain potty. Oh my God. So finally, Grandpa, everything on Jelly Avenue was a little hardware store, was a Jewish guy. He said, you know what, I must have something in the back. Took him a day, I remember like today, he found a porcelain potty.
And Mom, you could
Mommy
finally
was
go to the
happy.
bathroom again.
Yeah, she was happy. She had a
Left
porcelain
since.
potty. I tell you, you know, I lay in bed and I think about it, but she was, oh, she cute. She wasn't quite a terrific baby the whole night and whole day, but she was beautiful. She bit everybody's finger off, but what's mine is mine, what yours was hers too.
Still is.
That was your wife, and I mean it.
And when she got old enough to go to school, was there?
By then, because that was a walk up, 3 flights up, and then I got pregnant with Tony. I was 8 months pregnant, and Susie, my daughter, carried me, so I had to carry her.
Up 3 flights of stairs. Wow.
I was 8 months pregnant. So
And what was Grandpa doing during all that? He was going
He
work
was
every day.
already working, and he was crying every day because he didn't know a word of English. So they wrote down his address. He gave it to the driver, the bus driver, and they told him to get off the bus a block before, because you know the bus doesn't stop at your address.
Mm-hmm.
So what would take him a half an hour took him 3 hours. He came home really crying.
How long was it until you were able to settle into some kind of a routine that he was used to going to work and knew where to go?
No, Grandpa went, he looked for work and somehow, and he got was spelling or something like this was his boss. He employed only greenhorns. Like today you employ Mexican to cut your grass, you know. He paid nothing and he wanted them to work 24 hours for nothing. But he had a job.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way. And then slowly he got into a union and things. No, but before we moved to Brego Avenue, when Susie started school, so where we lived on Jelly Avenue, the school system started not go down. So that was all Grandpa's there. I'm not sending my child to that school system. So we moved to a very elegant apartment, 2-family house, beautiful. But the kids were playing in grass, and the owner said, "You're ruining my grass."
How old was Mom? Was that around kindergarten age?
Not yet. She was about almost 4 years old, and I had neighbors, so the kids would come. So we ate up the grass, you know, people. So by then we bought the house on Conklin Avenue. Grandpa said, we're not renting no more apartments.
And this was all within the same area?
Right.
Okay.
No, Brego was already a fancy area at this time. You remember? Oh yeah, something else. That was Labor Day, just before she started kindergarten. She broke her arm. But she was very proud of it. In a case, you know, all the kids initialed the thing. So that's all that started.
I'm glad you healed from that.
No, then she was playing on the porch. We said, wait, we were going to a picnic to Watchung.
So at any point in this, when did you start to look back and realize all
All this,
all
all
that you had
along.
gone through, and how do you kind of incorporate that into your mind?
Do you believe it? All the years the kids grew up, like all of us, we didn't talk about it for some reason. And I hear from veterans too that they never talk to the kids. If you watch the PBS, they told you about. But when the kids grew up, for some reason, we started to open up. And the remembrance, comes along. I really don't sleep. And,
I mean, is this something that is, even to this day, part of your daily thoughts? And
No, I wouldn't say daily, but it is. It is. Now I realize, how did we survive?
How did you?
You know what? You didn't think about it. You raise you raise a family. You're busy. You look up to your kids. You say, oh, you have school and you have this or that, something else.
And how about when the kids went to bed and Mom and Antonio went to bed and it was just you and Grandpa? Did you ever talk about it?
Oh yeah, we talked about many things. Listen, one thing, what Susie till today, we couldn't afford it to send them to day camps and things like that. We just couldn't. We made a living. My kids didn't lack one thing.
Well,
They
you and
went
Grandpa
to
worked very hard.
25 bar mitzvahs and bas mitzvahs a week, 3 a week. And they were dressed. Maybe I didn't go to Bloomingdale's, but they were dressed and everybody was okay. But they were things we just couldn't. And at this time, people didn't send kids to camps.
Mm-hmm.
Not my generation, wasn't like always. So that's the story. But we made it, thank God. What was that?
Oh yeah.
What is sign language? Oh, I am doing.
How about the times we spent our summers at the Bradley Beach?
Yes, we didn't say, but every summer we went to Bradley. Every summer.
Did you stay down there? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, so you had an apartment down there?
No, we rented a house.
Okay.
They were 3 couples. We were friends and we all have our rooms, but we had a joint kitchen.
So are these friends that you met
Very good
when,
friends.
when
No,
you
no.
were in New Jersey already? Or anybody that you knew from Sela?
What we
or
made
from,
here, no. We made friends here.
Okay.
Every summer we went to Bradley. And the kids had a very damn good time.
Did the parents have a good time?
Yes.
Okay,
We
good.
loved it. I love the beach. I can go today too.
Well, is there anything that you want to make sure that we know about that maybe no one's ever asked you about
as I
before?
remember, I don't remember everything, and I'm not good at talking about it. There are some speakers. I had a friend, Big Latzer. She left a lot of memories, but she was a good speaker. She went to colleges. She went to all over.
How do you feel speaking about it? Was it difficult at first and has it become
Not
easier?
really. Listen, it's part of my life. Let's put it this way.
And what do you think when you see Mom and me and Scott and all the kids and great-grandkids?
No,
and,
this you can't even imagine how I feel, because that's the greatest joy and that's the greatest pain in my life. Too bad Grandpa didn't live to see it, but
well, he certainly saw some of it. And,
some of it.
I do believe
You
he
were
sees-
a bunch of dummies still. You didn't become a doctor. He didn't see you being a doctor or a lawyer or having children. That's what I mean. You
It's
were
all
a
because
bunch
of
of
you
dummies.
and
I
well, maybe
mean
we're
it.
still a bunch of dummies.
That's beside the point. But I mean, he didn't see really the nachas.
Mm-hmm.